All right, hi everybody. Welcome. We are in a different location right now because I'm able to leave my home right now, which is kiss 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 kiss. So I'm very excited. So hi, how are you guys? I miss you so much. I am getting very excited because my son is going to be going to preschool, which means mommy's going to have a lot more time to be doing some fun stuff with you guys, which I'm really, really excited about. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I'm sorry if I'm speaking a little monotone. I'm in a private room, but I also don't want to be like screaming loud. Today, we are going to be talking about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and the Below Deck episodes that just happened. And we're also going to be talking about the newest Vanderpump Rules cast and how I kind of feel about that. As you know, as you guys know, if you follow me on here, you know that I've done Vanderpump Rules recaps because it was one of my favorite. I guess it kind of still is. I just have a lot of different feelings about it now with everything that's kind of happened over the years, especially with the men on that show. But I still love it. And I still want to do the recaps of it. I don't know. I think I still need to take a break from old Vanderpump Rules. You know what I'm saying? But we'll talk about that too. So if you're part of the replay crew, hey, how are you? Love you. Welcome. Share the wealth. Tell everybody. Share my content. I would really, really appreciate it. Some housekeeping updates. Okay, number one, if you guys don't know, I recently just started a political social media account, I guess you could say. I'm working on doing a channel attached with it, but for right now, it's just on Instagram. It's called Mainstream Politics. So if you were into politics, if you want to talk about politics, outside of talking about reality TV, I'm still gonna be an activist. I'm still gonna talk about stuff on my social media platforms that are under the mentally growing umbrella. But I wanted to have the opportunity to have a very specific area of the internet where I get to talk about politics as much as I want to talk about politics, because I love talking about politics. Okay, I just do. It's one of my favorite things to talk about because honestly, politics is genuinely at this rate, it's giving Real Housewives. So I got my beverage. I have my big gulp. I'm ready to rock. Again, if you're part of the replay crew, please comment down below. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know anything you guys want to see from me. If there's new video ideas, if there's social media content you have an idea for. And again, please definitely go check out my new political social media on Instagram. Again, it's called Mainstream Politics. Maine is spelled like the state because that's where I am located. And that will be the primary conversation. Okay, so today though, we're not talking about politics, okay? We're not talking about politics. Today we're talking about a bunch of drunk housewives, okay? Today we're talking about a messy little crew of youngins living in Hollywood, California, yay. That's what we're talking about today. Okay, so let's talk about Vanderpump Rules first because I have so much passion, so much love, so many feelings, and we'll talk a little bit about Potomac too. I'm not caught up on Potomac, but I definitely have just a couple little nitpicky things to talk about. But let's talk about Vanderpump Rules first. So as you guys know, they did decide to go through with a season 12 with a brand new cast. Thank you so much for the hearts. I appreciate it. They have decided they want to have a brand new cast from the jump. There is no repeat offenders. In the trailer, there wasn't there wasn't an old cast member that just kind of like popped up. It seems like they're really trying to step into their own, which I think is really exciting. I think it gives a fresh start. I have a lot of criticism for the show and what it possibly is trying to be. But I guess, we'll just see. Lisa, as you guys know, if you follow me for a while, I have a love-hate relationship with Lisa Vanderpump. I, at times, do wish she was back on Beverly Hills for her type of drama and for the women to spice it back up a little bit, because God knows, if you follow me long enough, Beverly Hills is a rough spot for me. I have a hard time. Hi, Cat's video. I have a very hard time with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I think it's one of the more boring housewife franchises and needs a massive reboot. I haven't seen the trailer for the new season yet. I will check that out. I am an OG Rachel Zoe lover from back in the day. Nowadays, don't really know what she's up to, but back in the day, I loved Rachel Zoe's goddamn show. Okay, I'm from the United States of America, sadly. So Vanderpump Rules, they decided they're gonna have a whole new cast, and they start out the trailer with little clips of, let me get my notes out. They start out with clips from the old show, which I kind of like that they acknowledged the existence of the old show. But I find it really interesting because you cannot sit here and tell me, that Lisa Vanderpump, who is an executive producer on this show, okay, she makes rules for this show. You know what I'm saying? She has her pick of the litter, okay? You can't tell me that she didn't on purpose put specific people into that trailer and then put certain people not in the trailer. / I think Bravo was like, we're gonna axe this situation. I find it interesting that Stassi was in the trailer, Lala was in the trailer, Brittany was in the trailer, Kristen's voice was in the trailer, and then Ariana and Sandoval. Now here's why I think it was put together the way it was put together. So you notice that Jax and James are not in it. I think that is a PR move that's on purpose because those two have so much bad history, and Lisa has been criticized a lot about supporting abusive men on the show, and we all know James and Jax are abusive. It's proven, they've admitted it, or we've seen it with our own two fucking eyes, and I think that was on purpose to not put those two into the trailer of the show. Now Schwartz and Katie I find very interesting. I find it interesting that they have Katie not in the trailer, but they have Ariana in the trailer. And then we see a scene with some of the girls where they are in something about her, having sandwiches, chilling and vibing. And for me, that actually shocked me because Lisa Vanderpump has not been a supporter of that establishment. She has, in my opinion, tried to sabotage their business with the friggin' chef that they had and got in a lawsuit with, and then they ended up dropping it or some shit like that, and now it's not a thing anymore. And Lisa was the one that introduced the girls to that person. I can't remember her name. Let me know if you guys remember what her name was. And I think she tried to sabotage something about her personally, allegedly. That's what I think. I think it's interesting that Schwartz is not in it either. I don't know what that's about. I thought that was a little weird. I know that Katie, when basically it came out that the entire cast was not going to come back, they were not going to do an OG season again. They were going to redo their own thing. I know that Katie spoke out on her podcast with Dana about it, and you know, Sheena's talked about it too. And that's the other thing. We'll talk about Sheena in a second because Sheena's not in it either, which I found that part wasn't shocking to me. Not having Sheena in it, that wasn't shocking to me. But Katie definitely spoke her piece on the whole situation. And I felt the same way kind of that like Sheena did and kind of that Katie did, which was that you're asking me to bow down to you and act like my life like revolves around you, and that if I didn't have Lisa Vanderpump, I would be nowhere. And I've always said and I've always maintained that I don't like that Lisa will never admit that they are the ones that made her relevant, popular, money, like their chemistry, their dynamic on television, their drama, their likability of some, you know, whether that's like a hateful likability or a real likability, like that show was lightning in a bottle. And Lisa Vanderpump will never acknowledge that. She thinks that she made the show, she did everything. She's the one that like made the show what it is. And it's like, well, no, these people did. These people made that show what it is. And we have seen shows that Lisa's brought to the forefront that have not been successful, and we look at her Vanderpump Dog Show. That wasn't successful. So we know that not everything Lisa does, is fucking gold. We look at her restaurants. She's been criticized so much, but Lisa will never take criticism, ever. She won't. Nothing is wrong with her. She is perfect. She knows everything. She's smarter than everybody. She's better than everybody. Whatever. Okay. So to not put Katie in, it's kind of like, okay, that's shade for a specific reason. Not putting Schwartz in is like wild to me. I'm like, I don't really get that part. Like, why aren't you putting the entire cast in the trailer? You know what I'm saying? Why aren't you not acknowledging their part in this franchise? Like, you wouldn't have a season 12 without this cast. The reason why there are 12 seasons that are about to happen is because of that group of people. And the fact that that group of people, which is so rare, okay, have been around on that show from the jump. There are not a lot of casts, especially if you look at like Housewives. There are not a lot of ensemble casts that have been there from the beginning. And a huge chunk of that cast was there all the way to season 8. Obviously, we had to do some switching up and mix up. And then, it was like, oh, you've been in timeout long enough. You've learned, bloop, bloop, bloop. Let's give you a whole brand new show on your own. Not having Sheena, Sheena is having like a panic attack somewhere in her corner where she's like, oh my God, I'm not in the trailer. She didn't acknowledge me. I can't, like, the fact that you didn't put even like a phrase that Sheena said, like, there's so many things to not love about Sheena. Trust me, I get it. Like, Sheena at times will like Sheena sometimes gives me like a panic attack. I'm like, Sheena, girl, like, you're driving me fucking insane. And I'm glad I'm not looking forward to her being on the Valley, if I'm being really honest with you. But at the end of the day, Sheena was a huge part of the success of that television show. She was a huge reason why drama was continued on, why conversations were continued on. She's given us so many memes, so many gifts, so many memorable moments, the music, the drama, the tears, the penguins. She's given us all of it. And the fact that you're not going to acknowledge her at all, you're not going to acknowledge her part at all, and you're not going to acknowledge Katie at all. Schwartz, I could give two shits. I don't give a shit about Schwartz. Like, whatever. But Katie and Sheena, the women on that show you're not going to acknowledge, is wild to me. It is wild to me. The Jax and the James shit, I totally understand. I actually think that was very smart of them to just basically be like, nope. And that, to me, not having James and Jax, that also to me tells me that Bravo is not going to have those two come back in any capacity, and not on the Valley, not in any other way. Like, that to me felt like the nail in the coffin for James and Jax. Like, Bravo is like, we don't know them. We're done with them. We don't talk to them. We don't speak to them. We don't know them, which I found very interesting. But the Katie and Sheena of it all it's kind of an F you. I'm like, girl, Bravo still fucking shows Lisa Vanderpump on Beverly Hills. For God's sakes, they show clips of her on Beverly Hills. Okay, but you can't show these two women, especially Katie, who was like tortured for over a decade on that show, and you consumed that torture and profited off of it, and you can't even show Katie's ass on there. It's you're gonna show Stassi, who has not been on that show for years at this point, but you're not gonna show Katie and Sheena. That part to me was on purpose. That was some shady shit. So let's get more into like the cast and some of the topics that got brought up. Obviously Lisa talks about how, she doesn't want to have a boring group. It cracks me up because I love how I've said this for a very long time, and Chris and Dodie brought this up a very long time ago and continues to bring it up, and I believe her completely, that Lisa loves to pretend that she's at this restaurant all the time. She loves to pretend that she's a big bad boss, and at the end of the day, she's not there if they're not taping. Lisa Vanderpump is not there unless a camera is in her face. That's when she's at that restaurant. That's when she's at SUR. That's when she's entertaining it. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to assume it's probably one of her least profitable restaurants at this point, is my guess. Is that restaurant specifically is her least profitable one. I'm shocked, and I will continue to be shocked until the end of time. Why in the actual hell? She has multiple restaurants, I believe. Like, doesn't she have two? Almost, I think she might be getting a third one. Doesn't she have like 2 or 3 restaurants in Vegas right now? They had such a good opportunity to transition from Vanderpump Rules to the Vegas show, the Vegas one, because obviously I think it was season 9, which is like a dark demon season. Okay, season 9, I believe 9 or 10, 9, yeah, 9 was like the dark ages. Okay, the dark ages. All right, when we had like Dana and that whole group there that came in. It's interesting to me that they've teased it twice, the Vegas restaurant. They teased it once with the Sheena lookalike girl, and they teased it once with Garcelle's son and that whole shenanigan mess over there. And so it's always surprising me. It's like, why have a season 12 with Sir when we know that if you look up Sir, like I've done videos on here. You can look back. I think they were live videos that I've done. I've read Yelp reviews of Sir. It's not good, you guys. Like, it's not a good, Sir's not doing great, okay? I don't think financially. Don't quote me. I'm not an investigative fucking journalist. I'm some random girl on the internet, okay? But I find it interesting that she wants to do a season 12 with a brand new cast, but she's teased Vegas multiple times. And I really do think she could have a great show with Vegas. I really, really, really do. And Vegas is so fucking messy. It's such a messy place. It's such a messy, there's just so much they could do with that. And I'm fascinated as to, I would love to know why she never really stepped into that. And, you know, she talks about how she doesn't want to have a boring group, but then she'll bitch and complain every episode about how they're too much, they do too much. Can't you guys just calm down? Do you always have to sleep with each other? Why is this? Why is that? And it's like, well, we know why. Because you're trying to make a good show. You're trying to get the drama, the tea, the hot sauce. You know what I'm saying? It seems to me that they do have a cast of people that seem to have, that are genuine friends. And that is a big, big thing that I have said multiple times. And I'm hoping within the next month, I'm going to make a video about how to make the best reality show for Bravo. And one of the things I've always said is the best way to make an ensemble casted show for Bravo is they have to be actually like real friends outside of the television show. When the cameras are off, they're still spending time together. They're still hanging out. They're still texting each other, calling each other, sleeping together. They're still doing all of that. That's the best way to have the best outcome for drama, craziness, skeletons and secrets. That's why I've said time and time again, one of the best ensemble casts on Bravo is Real Housewives of the OG Real Housewives of New York. And that's why I think Real House of Salt Lake City is so successful, because they are in a tight-knit community. They've known each other for a very long time. They have a lot of history together, even like as young as childhood. And I think those things they just birth amazing drama and amazing tea. And it seems to me that this cast does have some friendship depth in it, along with some new people to kind of mess it up a little bit. And I read the profile, I think it was on Deadline, I believe I read it, of the cast. And you could definitely tell that they are pandering towards the old cast of like, this person's kind of like Jax, and then like this person's kind of like James, and then this person's kind of like Sheena, and this one's kind of like Stassi. And like, you can definitely tell that they were like, let's do some carbon copies and see what we come up with. I also find it really interesting, and I've always said this, is that they are in WeHo, which is literally the like fucking gay capital of America. Like, WeHo is queer everywhere, 24/7, 365, okay? And the fact that Vanderpump Rules has continued to not have main cast members that were out queer, and I know people are gonna be like, oh, but Lala's bisexual and Ariana's bisexual, and I'm like, yeah, that's great, that's awesome, I love that for them, I think that's so amazing. You know, obviously they've tried a couple people in and out that haven't been that haven't had like a longevity or have done way too much, like Billie Lee. Love that they had a trans person on there, but the problem with Billie Lee is what Billie Lee was doing is that she was doing the opposite of what the group was doing. The group had natural drama out no matter what. I think the two of them are gay in a new spinoff. One of the girls for sure. So I know Venus is gay in this show. He's the one that has the long hair. Jalissa, my queen, my icon. Hi, how are you? I know Venus is a gay guy with the long hair, which we'll get to that. But I do wish that they had more of that representation. And I'm talking like in your face type of representation. Lala and Ariana have always, talked about their bisexuality, but they've always dated men, and on the show at least. And I think it's like you live in WeHo. It's like why is there not more representation of that? Why are we watching a show that's in WeHo with a bunch of fucking straights? But at the same time, I will say, I don't want fake friendships. I want real friendships. I want authenticity. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how that goes. I am excited to see what Venus is like. The name alone is wild to me, so I do want to know more about that. How did we get the name Venus? Is that your real name? And then that hair, is that real? Is it extensions? What is your hairline? Is it tresemme? What are we doing here? Okay, what's the hair regimen? Because that's some long ass hair down to the booty, down to the butt. Okay. So here's what we got for cast members. So we have Venus. He's the group gay. He is the one that everybody seems to go to complain, gossip, give the tea on everything. And he seems to be getting caught up in the drama and the crosshairs of some other cast members because he's very close with all of them. I will say this group is kind of giving, what is the one, oh God, what is the, I'm having a blank. What is the ensemble cast? Southern Hospitality. This cast is giving me Southern Hospitality vibes, and which is not a bad thing because I love Southern Hospitality. I think it's a great show. I think it was a great little new jolt into the Bravo cinematic universe. I really do. I think the girl with black hair and blue eyes is a lesbian. Interesting. Okay, we will be looking into that. Then we have Shane. Shane does not work at SUR, so he's giving, to me, it's giving Schwartz vibes, because Schwartz was definitely on the outside going in a lot. He was friends with everybody at SUR, but he wasn't an employee of SUR. And then obviously we saw what happened at Pump, which, RIP Pump, RIP Schwartz having an actual fucking job. He is an actor and he does improv. And so what I need to know is, does he take improv seriously? I want to know that. I want to know if maybe, Ariana could go in and just ask him, like, do you take improv seriously like she does? Are we doing improv where we are taking pictures of dudes that we slept with and cheated on our boyfriend with and showing snippets of that and making fun of it in front of that person that you slept with and their new partner? I just have a lot of questions, okay? When I see improv, my Vanderpump Rules encyclopedia opens up. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm talking about? I think you know what I'm talking about. If you've watched Vanderpump Rules, you know everything that I'm saying right now. Next, we have Natalie. And so she's the lead bartender. She's been there for 2 years. She wants to be the bar manager. And she is besties with Venus and wants to be a pop music singer. Again, if we're having comparisons, the vibe that I'm getting is Sheena. And pop music singer, besties with the gay guy in the group, living her best life, a drama. And if they don't show her singing a very crappy version of a song, what are we doing here? The best part about Vanderpump Rules is in the morning, got me feeling like a bird on you. And then we go, good ass go. Like, that's the best part of Vanderpump Rules. The millennial chugginess of Vanderpump Rules, I need that. I need a new hit single, okay? I need it really badly. Next we have Marcus. Marcus is dating Kim, and I guess, lost both of his parents, which I'm very interested to hear how that happened. Is that like a recent thing? Is that like an old thing? Like, what's that about? I'm very interested to see what happened. And as you guys know, that was a storyline on Vanderpump Rules in the past. Lala had an experience, unfortunately, with her father passing away. Jax had an experience with his father passing away. So that's definitely a conversation that's been had on the show before. So I'm very interested to see. Marcus is a DJ. So, DJ James Kennedy, it's giving. And it's very, very close with Venus and Shane. Kim is dating Marcus. They apparently are very on again, off again. Like that, we've seen that dynamic before many, many times on this show. We saw that with Jackson Stassi. We saw that with Sandoval and Kristen. And we never saw like an actual breakup with Katie and Schwartz. We saw like the attempt of one at all times. And then all of a sudden it was like, never mind. Never mind. Like rage text, I hate you, I hope you die. But I still love you, we should be together. Bubba. I wonder if we're gonna get nicknames. I wonder if we're gonna get girlfriend, boyfriend nicknames. Are we ever gonna get Bubba? And then are we going to get Bubba art on the wall by Mr. Kate? I just wanna know these things. These are questions that I have. This is the thing, is like, people don't understand unless you are a Vanderpump Rules like head like I am, unless you're a Vanderpump Rules encyclopedia scholar, you guys don't understand how much of that show has so many little blippy, specific, iconic moments in it. Like that, if you are a Vanderpump Rules OG lover, you know. And one of the things is the Bubba art. Are we gonna get Bubba art? Okay, I wanna know. Jason is next. He's an aspiring actor. All these people are trying to fucking be something bigger than they are. We'll see if they have more success than the actual cast, because the cast literally does not do anything that they talked about. Half of them wanted to be actors, half of them wanted to be fucking comedians, half of them wanted to be singer-songwriters, half of them wanted to be this, and that. I think the only people that are doing what they probably fucking talked about is Ariana and, sorry, but DJ James Kennedy. He's still DJing. He's still making money off the DJ shit. Who knows if he's sober or anything, but so he's an aspiring actor. Him and Chris, who's another bartender, he and Jason are cousins, and they're very, 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 very close. And Jason is single and is trying to date one of the other girls on the cast. There's a lot of dating drama on here. Demi has been a manager for 7 years, and she always seems to have issues with Natalie. And I mean, it's kind of giving like Peter vibes. And we've seen this dynamic too on Southern Hospitality, where one of the cast members is the manager in the group, is in charge of their own friends. And then one of their friends acts out of line, and it's like, oh, well, what do I do? What do I do when my friend, when I'm their manager? And I want to be a part of the tea, and I want to be part of the gossip, and I want to be part of the drama. But what do I do when my best friend is a part of that and I have to discipline her? So that's going to be a dynamic, which is really interesting, because I feel like Peter never had to really do that. Because Peter only really had issues with Lala, Kristen, and James, 3 of which I don't necessarily think he was actually friends with. You know what I'm saying? Like real life friends. They were like coworker, buddy, castmates, that kind of thing. Peter was not really like friends, like besties with them. He was more friends with the guys. So I feel like Peter never really had to like discipline his actual friends. He mostly had to discipline just the other members of the cast. I always feel, pour one out for fucking Peter. I always feel bad for Peter, because Peter did not get fucking paid. Peter didn't get to be like an actual cast member, but he's a huge puzzle piece to that show. And he's been there from the jump, So we next have Chris. Chris is a bartender. He's an actor, but has decided to go into music. He's single, but he's starting to date and have a thing with Audrey. And so again, we're doing lots of dating, lots of singles ready to mingles. Audrey is a singer. She's an actor. She starts dating Chris. And then we have Angelica. She's a new girl, so it's giving Sheena. I am really interested to see how. This is the other thing, is that Vanderpump Rules had one of the most iconic entrances into the show that honestly any reality TV show's probably ever had. Like to go from one show so beautifully into the next show. I'm like, can we get back to that? Like I really miss the days. And the only way they can do this is with Lisa, honestly. But I miss the days when we had the upstairs downstairs vibe, and we see that in Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and Below Deck, which I think it should be a literal contractual requirement, okay, that all Real Housewives franchises have to do one Below Deck episode a season. I love that vibe. I don't know if anybody else loves that vibe as much as I do, but I love it. I love the vibe of upstairs, downstairs. I love the Downton Abbey of it. I just really love it. I love the behind the scenes of it. Like, do you guys remember the seasons of Vanderpump Rules where they would do an episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Vanderpump Rules back to back, and it would be the same experience. It would be the same event. There was one where they were in the garden of the restaurant, and it was like Stassi, Schwartz, Ariana, Jax, I think. Jax called one of the women Michael Jackson's sister. And that was the scene where Kristen like freaked the fuck out because she found out that Sandoval was bartending with Ariana, and that was the whole like, oh my God, cheating on me, not cheating on me, whatever. And so like, and that was a whole episode of the Beverly Hills perspective of the rich women eating dinner at a fine establishment. And then you cut to the next episode where you see the Vanderpump Rules cast version of that and their side of the story, and they show all of that. And I wish we could get back to that. I wish we could find a way to get back to that vibe. Like I want to go back to, and it's so nostalgic because that was a really big thing back in the day, not just for reality TV shows, but also that was a big thing for like primetime scripted television as well too, where it was tag teaming with other TV shows and coinciding. Like you think about Grey's Anatomy, Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, and How to Get Away with Murder, all kind of intertwined somehow. Or was it just How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal? But that stuff is so cool, and I really love that, and it shows different perspectives, and also it gives instead of getting an hour episode, you get a 2-hour episode basically, which I think is so cool and so fun to watch. And I wish we could find a way to go back to that, but it's hard because the Real House of Beverly Hills, nobody spends time with Lisa Vanderpump anymore. None of those fucking women go to SUR. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, barely the normal people of LA go to fucking SUR. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to podcasts and listened to people that live in LA and have said like that place is a fucking ghost town. Like SUR is not. It was always shocking to me that. I will continue to not understand why they picked, I guess I don't know why they would pick SUR. I don't know why they didn't try to do like a Pump situation, which Tom I think is fucking Pump now at this point. I don't know why I already said the Vegas thing. I don't know why they tried to do Vegas. I just don't know why we're picking SUR, because it is not what it used to be. SUR is not what it used to be. It just isn't, and it's shocking. Maybe this is a way for her to like bring the vibes back and get money back into that place, because let me tell you right now, it's not happening. No one goes to SUR. We went last year. Oh my God, Jalissa, you need to message me and tell me all your tea about going there. I've had people DM me and tell me and show me pictures, and like I've had two followers of mine send me pictures and videos of Tom, of SUR, of all those places. And the consensus I've gotten when the last person I talked to, I think was before Pump was done, I think. And she went to Jax's, she went to SUR, and she went to Tom. I don't think she went to Pump, the follower that I had there that did that. And funny enough, the consensus and the feedback I've always gotten from listening to podcasts from followers of mine is that Tom's the best one out of all of them. That Tom has the best foods, the best cocktails. Cost of everything is outrageous and fucking ridiculous, but that's just par for the course. Like, you're in California, what do you expect? and you're in West Hollywood and this show, like these restaurants are famous on television shows, like that's gonna happen. But the consensus has always been that Tom Tom's the best out of all of them, which is so funny to me. So it's like, why don't you have, again, you open the door for these things to happen. You see, Jalissa, see, that's what I'm saying. Everybody I know has always said that Tom Tom is the best out of all of Lisa's West Hollywood restaurants. And it's just so funny to me that they would not try to have the show through Tom Tom. Again, they've had the opportunity to do, they tried, and they had the opportunity to slide everybody over into there. Again, they've also had the opportunity to do the Vegas one, which I don't understand why she never stuck with that. But yeah, the last one was Angelica. She's a new girl. She starts dating Jason, but apparently there's like a little love triangle between her, Jason, and Shane. She's a model and an actor. And I'm very interested to see this crew and who they are, what they're like, their dynamic with each other, their drama with each other. I'm interested to see who Lisa attaches herself with. It looks like Venus might be one of them. It looks like we have like silly little things, like they talk about a penis pump. That's a whole conversation apparently that happens with one of the guys there. There's definitely, like, this is the other thing. And maybe this is because I'm not a 20-year-old anymore. I'm 35 years old. I'm gonna be 36 in April. Maybe that's just, I'm older now. When I first started watching the show, I was in college. I was a baby. I was a stupid baby. But back in the day, I did, no matter how toxic and gross those fuckers were back in the day, I did think they were attractive, okay? At my 20 years old, I don't know why I did. Looking back now, I'm like, ew, what was I fucking thinking? Gross. But I'm not like attracted to any of these guys. Not one of them. And maybe that's because I'm a grown-ass woman who is married to an actual like adult man who has responsibilities, goals, aspirations, a paycheck, you know what I'm saying? Isn't a psychotic cheater 24/7, 365 right in front of your goddamn face. I don't know if that's it. I have no idea. But like literally not one man on this cast, I was like, hot. Every single one of them was giving ew or fuck boy. That's all I got from this cast is ew, F boy energy. And that's not a bad thing because that's entertainment and the drama and the tea and the hot stuff and all this stuff. My thing that I love so much about, oh girl, Jalissa, get sleep for both of us. Okay, girl, one of us has to sleep. So it's your turn. I got to sleep a couple days ago. You get to sleep today. I'll talk to you later anyway. But one of the things that I loved so much about Vanderpump Rules, and because again, if you follow me, you know that Vanderpump Rules and Real Housewives of New York were my favorite reality TV shows. Like just really, really obsessed with those two shows. And one of the reasons why I just love them so much is because for a very long time, because of the era that they were in, they were not on social media 24/7. They were not constantly looking to see what people had to say about them, which gave them this beautiful opportunity, which the OG housewives had this wonderful moment too, where you could be a mess, you could be clumsy, you could be a little cuckoo Cocoa Puffs, because you weren't so worried about what everybody was thinking about you 24/7, 365. And people were not hanging off of every single word that came out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And so you notice that when those shows started getting more viewers and getting more social media, when they started having accounts like mine where we're talking about them 24/7, 365, that's when you see a lot of these shows kind of going fucking downhill, because they're not just living their life, with a video camera in front of their face. They're very calculated. They're overthinking things. They're overproducing themselves. They're overproducing the show themselves. And bitch, you ain't even getting the producing credit. So why even do it? Just live your own life. Just be your own person. Just do your own fucking thing. Like, why do you have to try to play this little game? And, we'll talk about this when it comes to SLC in just a minute, but that's the only thing I am a little nervous about, is that I am a little nervous that this crew will not be like messy enough. I want them to be, I guess the best way to put it is like it used to be where these shows were unapologetically messy and didn't give a shit what people were saying online, didn't hyper focus on it, and also didn't like dig up shit on the internet to throw out to everybody and go, ooh, well, I heard on this and I heard on that. Like the best part about Real Houses of New York City was when they would always be talking about fucking Page Six. That was hilarious to me. I thought that was so funny. And they weren't talking about Page Six like the social media page. No, they were talking about the literal like paper. Page Six, like, look, I found you on Page Six, the paper, the physical copy that we found at the bodega today. That's what the fuck they were talking about. That shit's hilarious to me. That's so funny to me. I don't know if we're gonna have that. I think social media has really done a disservice to for people that love reality TV shows. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is coming from someone though, again, that's literally standing in front of you right now talking about this shit on social media with a social media platform. So take what I say with a fucking grain of salt, honestly. All right, let's talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I have a different notebook for that. Why? I don't know. Don't ask questions, okay? For some reason, I forgot that I have an actual like notebook I could use to, to get in here. But that's how I feel about Vanderpump Rules. And you guys, I'm not gonna lie, I am hoping for the best. I am gonna watch it. I am gonna give it a shot. I'm also going to sit in the thought process that this is not the OG group. This is not going to be a copy and paste situation, that they are their own group. They're their own entity. They have their own problems, their own issues, and we'll just see how it goes. I still find it very interesting though. Again, last thing I'll say is that they didn't acknowledge Katie. They didn't acknowledge Sheena, but for some reason they filmed, which they had to get approval for. They filmed in Katie's business. So I don't really understand that. I don't really get it. And I think Sheena is probably like, what the fuck? But also, oh wait, no, you guys, I forgot Sheena's not gonna be on the Valley. Lala's on the Valley. Sheena chose not to be on the Valley this year. That's so fascinating to me. Sheena, give me a call, girl. I have lots of ideas for you, okay? And I think we can go places, okay? So let's talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City in the below deck, like, grouping here, which I love. Okay, again, I said this like 10 minutes ago. I encourage the below deckness of it all. I encourage every single housewife franchise to somehow get onto a yacht with Captain Jason. Like every single one. Get Daisy in there. Ben was so excited to see Ben. I was so happy. I just was so happy. I was like, this is awesome. Like I love seeing these women. The one thing I love so much about a lot of these franchises is I love seeing the delusion, the fights, the arguing, the craziness happening, and then somebody off to the side, it's almost like they have an earpiece with the audience where it's like they are saying what we're all thinking watching the show. So you're sitting there watching these women literally scream at each other, drunk, hammered, freaking knives on their heads, blood everywhere, acting like cuckoo Cocoa Puff crazy women, okay? Screaming. Cut to, you see the cast of Below Deck saying what we're all thinking, which is, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy. This is nuts. We can't even let Jason go out there and sit with them because they're acting so crazy. That's funny to me. That's great TV to me. That's what I love and I miss. And I wish that they would keep doing that. I think that would just be really, really fun. And no offense, you guys, no offense, Bravo. I don't want fucking housewives, like, wife swap. Is anybody even watching that? I haven't even seen Bravo promote it, you guys. I think Wendy's little situation kind of smashed that, okay? I think that kind of like made that show be a nothing burger because of all that going on. And I also don't think Angie is a good enough. Angie is one of those housewives that she's good on an ensemble cast, but she's not good on her own. Like, I don't have any desire to know about Angie's personal life, follow her around, follow her husband, go to the hair salon, see her daughter, Greek. I don't have any desire for that, but damn, Angie is a great cast member. Angie is a phenomenal housewife. I love Angie, okay? She's a wackadoodle cuckoo baby Greek girl. And I love her, okay? She is necessary. And when her and Mary had whatever the hell happened, but Angie became the Mary Whisperer. And ever since that happened, I was like, yes, if we can find a way to get Mary to be her funny, crazy, dynamic, silly self in this like nice, comfortable way, and deliver one-liners, and like, and Angie and her, they just have, I think their friendship goes south this season, if I remember correctly from like trailers and stuff. But I really do, I love their dynamic. I loved watching, Mary was so happy when Angie got sick. She even said it. She was like, can we get Angie sick again so I can go back to the quiet space? Like when Angie was sick, literally Mary was like, thank you, Lord Jesus Christ in heaven. Like, you answered my prayers, because that's all I wanted to do. She was eating high-end fucking fish, caviar, cheesecakes in bed with Angie and was happy as a fucking clam, was getting waited on, living her best life. And so their little dynamic duo, I really, really love a lot. I also love Heather and Whitney when they're in their little vibe together, when they're like being cousins and they're trying to just cause a lot of mess. And one thing I've really enjoyed about Whitney, and I'm not a Whitney fan, okay? I'm not a Whitney hater, but I'm not a like, go Whitney. Whitney kind of drives me nuts sometimes. Also, girl, your husband was in charge of an MLM. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Allegedly, your husband was in charge of an ML fucking M. Okay, I'm just saying, all right? And scam, allegedly. But what I will say is that when her and Heather get together, she's better. She's more entertaining. And I will say another thing that I have loved about Whitney this season is that when people do call her out on shit, she's been owning it. And I appreciate that, because in Housewives world, that's fucking rare. In Housewives, it's denial, 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 denial. And she's like, yeah, no, we fucked up. Our business fucked up. I feel like a failure. I should have known better. I should have done this. I should have done that. What else? Like, yeah, you're right. Because what that does is it disarms people, and it gets the other housewives to not want to battle with you because they know they can't get an edge on you. Because you're like, okay, yeah, I did that. It sucked. I was horrible. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. Now what? That's something that is very different for housewives. And that's one way that Whitney's going to have the edge over these women. That is one way that she's going to be able to have the higher ground with these women. Heather too, is if when you do have things brought up about you, if you don't lie about it, if you just own it, you're going to be top dog, because that tells the other women, you got nothing on me, because I'll just talk about it myself. I don't give a shit. That's great for Whitney. And plus I love that they're cousins and they have their cute little dynamic, and I really love that. I mean, I'm so glad that Whitney freaking dyed her hair blonde again. I'm like, girl, listen, I understand why you wanted to be a redhead, because you want to be like your daughter, and I love that for you. I've never doubted that. I've never, one thing I will say over and over and over again is I almost rarely doubt that these women on these shows are bad mothers. Now, the best partners, the best friends, the best co-workers, the best bosses to their businesses, the best businesswoman, I don't know about that. But I don't deny that they're great parents. And I think Whitney's a good mom. I do genuinely believe that for sure. I've said that about Vanderpump Rules too. I'm not the biggest fan of all the women on that show. Never doubt that those women love their children and are always there for their children. They're advocates for their children. They are ride or dies for their children. I've never doubted that. And I don't doubt that with this group of women. I just doubt that, Whitney has good gays around that were like, girl, we're not dyeing your hair fucking red. Not that color red. Not Bozo the Clown red. We're not doing that. Also, she has a killer body, girl. She's hot. Whitney's fucking hot, and she knows it, and I'm happy for her. The fact that these women were on a plane for 15 hours, do you want to be on a fucking plane? Multiple planes. Not just one plane, multiple planes. For 15 hours with Lisa fucking Barlow and Mary Cosby? With Brittany? I don't. Girl, I'd rather be in a life raft than be with these women on a plane, because they have ridiculously high standards for what everybody around them should be doing. And let me tell you right now, I could be wrong. Not one of these women is giving me yacht money. Not one of these women gives me, I make enough money to be on a fucking yacht. That's just me, though. That's just me, okay? Heather and Captain Jason. What's going on with Heather, guys? Listen, I know she's private, and I know that she is private about a lot of things because of her daughters and, you know, their dynamic with their dad and things like that or whatever. But, like, what's going on with Heather? Like, does Heather have a boyfriend? Is Heather dating anybody? Is Heather getting, like, you know, getting it? Is she getting it? Like, I want Heather to get laid. Is that happening? I need to know these things. It's none of my business. I shouldn't give a shit about it, but I want to know. And literally, Heather and Captain Jason, that's fucking hot. I do that. I would accept that. And I love that she was like, if I was trapped on an island with Captain Jason, I would bring a bikini and condoms. I'm like, girl, get yours. Get your rocks off. I just want Heather to get laid so badly, and I hope she is. And also, she is literally gorgeous. Her confessionals, she looks that blonde. Whoever's doing her blonde in some of these confessionals is a professional. Like, it's a very, and it's not Angie. Okay, I don't think Angie does her hair. That's just me though. I love seeing it was giving OG Housewives when Lisa was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a call. I'm gonna make sure all my alcohol. I only want the alcohol that is my brand. I'll make sure to work on that and get that on the ship for you, baby girl doll." And I'm like, it reminds me of Ramona and Pinot Grigio and Bethany Frankel always trying to fucking hawk Skinny Girl everywhere that they fucking went. And I'm like, Lisa, girl, you need to get your business on here a lot more. You're not hawking it enough, girl. Get it on there. It's like Bethany was like, yeah, I got a brand. I got money. I got bills to pay. I am going to put Skinny Girl on everything. Okay. I'm going to tattoo Skinny Girl on my ass. And I don't give a shit. I'm making money though. And guess what? I'm not a big fan of Bethany Frankel anymore. The bitch is a billionaire though. So she did something right. The girls get broken up into rooms. Mary and Angie room together. Heather and Whitney room together. Lisa and Heather room together. Lisa and Heather? No, Lisa and Meredith, sorry, room together. And Brittany and Bronwyn room together, which was hilarious. I was like, let's pretend for a second that we don't hate Brittany and Bronwyn. We're gonna put them together though. Like, you guys are making it so obvious that they are the two kind of offside cast members now. They're in their own little world. They're in their own little category over here. And I think the women would like Bronwyn a lot more if they gave her a chance. Even Heather talks about that, I think in one of the 2 episodes, about giving Bronwyn a chance and how she was just too stubborn. And I like that she's giving Bronwyn a chance now because I think Bronwyn could be really fun and silly. And she kind of reminds me a little bit of Dorit with the fashion craziness. And I think that was like her coming onto the boat in that fucking yellow floaty outfit. I was like, what are we doing? And it's like, it's funny, it's silly. And I wish she would like kind of just own it and sit in it and just be like, yeah, I'm crazy, I'm kooky. When she decided that she wanted to have the blow up floaty outfits, I thought that was hilarious. And I love that. And I think she's fun. I think she's a good time. You know, Brittany, on the other hand, Brittany on her own is a literal fucking nightmare. But in this particular group, she really is perfect for this group because she's so delusional. The fact that this is so mean, but the fact that when she got on the boat, they were like, if you bring up Jared at all while we're on this trip, we're going to throw water in your face. I was like, you guys, why do you hate Brittany so much? Like, you're like hazing her. Like, it's crazy. They hate her. And it's kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie, but it's also like, you guys, we're being so mean to this woman, and she is literally on the edge of a fucking mental breakdown at all times. And you're all like, and Meredith is a nut. Meredith is so mean to her. So mean to her. It's crazy. Like, there's one thing to be like, oh my God, you're annoying, I can't stand you. It's another thing to literally like, Meredith is just nasty to her. It's wild to me. Brittany needs to never talk to Jared literally ever again. Not this like 30 days of not talking to Jared, which didn't even happen. But, you know, she needs to get away from this man. He's so toxic. He's literally the reason why her relationship with him and choosing him over her children. It's why she doesn't have a relationship with her kids, which is really, 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 really sad. It makes me, it makes me really sad for her daughters. And, I wish she could just, I don't know what it is about this man that she just has to have this like grip on the relationship with him. And then the fact that she had that goddamn cursed unicorn, that cursed ass unicorn that said, "Good night, baby, you are loved." I was with Bronwyn. She's like, that is my literal fucking nightmare. She goes, "I'm going to wake up and this is going to be my sleep paralysis demon." I'm like, yeah, Bronwyn, it is. It was wild. The way that I would have found that fucking unicorn, and when we were drunk and partying and hanging out, I would have come up behind the different women and squeezed that little thing behind him, and all of a sudden you just hear Jared go, "Good night, baby, you are loved." Who says that? Who says you are loved? What, like, you're taking a break from Jared for 30 days. Does that mean, is the unicorn not involved in that? Is the unicorn with the weird, sketchy, like, freaky saying, is that not involved in the 30 days? So you have to have that 30-day break from Jared, but you don't have to have a 30-day break from Jared's creepy ass fucking unicorn baby doll toy? What? That to me was just like, what are we doing? What's going on? Why? Ew, stop. Like, so cringy, so weird, so creepy. And I don't blame Bronwyn for being worried that she's gonna like fucking roll over and then lean on this goddamn unicorn doll and hear this creepy noise of Jared's voice in the background. I'm like, ew, gross. I hate that. I literally hate that. It was gross. Let's see. All this stuff that they're bringing up with Bronwyn is so interesting because a lot of it sounds like it's very old news and it's not very relevant to their life currently or anything that's going on. I'm not the biggest fan of Todd. I'm gonna be real with you. He's just like a grumpy old man, and I think he's, not very nice to Bronwyn. But I also think that he was a lifeline for Bronwyn when she really needed it because, she's very honest. She's like, yeah, when I was 19 years old, I got kicked out of BYU. I was a mess. I was not paying my rent. I was really going through a lot. I'm not going to deny that or lie to you guys about that. That's what happened, and that's who I was, and that's not the situation anymore. The issue continues to be this 4 years ago issue with this sealed record from what she says to be her work of some sort, and it sounds like she cooperated with authorities to take down the people that maybe owned this business. I don't know if you guys know more about it. Please send me links, DM me or something. I would love to know more about it. But it seems that there is something to do with a sealed case. And I mean, at the end of the day, you guys, whether we like it or not, whether Lisa likes it or not, if it is a sealed case, I'm gonna take the assumption that there's probably some type of NDA or silencing situation going on with that particular case, that even if Bronwyn wanted to talk about it and even if Bronwyn wanted to bring it up, she probably legally can't bring it up. If it's a sealed case, there's no fucking way she's allowed to talk about it. And so it's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, you're not telling anybody. Oh, you're not being honest. It's like, what am I supposed to do the first time I meet you? I'm supposed to just come up to you and just tell you my fucking life story? I'm supposed to tell you every single thing I've ever been in? I'm supposed to tell you every single thing that's ever happened to me? Like, no, you weirdo. We'd be like, you're lying about who you truly are. You're really, really lying. It's like, I'm not lying. I'm just not. The subject's never come up. So what? Again, the first day I meet you, I need to be like, hey, you guys, so I was in this lawsuit and I did this and that, blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's not going to happen. The thing with Lisa that I'm very nervous about, and this is because, I'm a housewives historian, not really, but I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. Okay. I've seen this happen with many housewives before. The same thing that's happened to Lisa Barlow. When you start producing the show without a producing credit, you're not going to win. You're never going to win the audience over. You're never going to win the cast over. When you start ostracizing certain cast members and harassing certain cast members to the point of them wanting to not even be on the show anymore, you're going to lose the audience. You're going to lose the cast. the comparison that I always make when I'm talking about this stuff is always Lisa Rinna and Erica Girardi. You know, when it came to those two, they were, and honestly Beverly Hills as a whole, they overproduced way too much. Lisa Rinna, whether you like her or not, doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, she was overproducing. She was talking to too many gossip channels, blogs, vlogs, whatever the fuck you want to say, social media people. She was creating drama that wasn't real or natural. And on top of that, she had this consistency of digging up shit on one specific cast member every single season and hammering it to the ground, but then denying her participation in getting said drama onto the television show. And what's going to happen is if Lisa Barlow continues to behave this way, one or two things is going to happen. Either number one, the fans are going to hate her, and not in a good way, not in like a fun, evil villain kind of way. In like a, no, we genuinely don't want you on the show anymore. You suck. And you're going to get hate like you've never seen before. Or you can do what Erica did, which was Erica stayed on the show. And Erica was like, well, the only way to move forward, she never said this obviously out loud, but in my opinion, this is what I think happened. It was, oh, I'm alone now. If I'm going to stay on the show, I'm not going to have a partner in crime. So I got to stick up for myself. But part of sticking up for myself is taking accountability for some things that I did and acknowledging them and not making excuses. Even though one of the excuses is she was, whether you agreed with the lawsuit or you think that Erica was involved or not, she really did go through a fucking horrible situation with her ex-husband. And I do genuinely think that the majority of that problem was him, not her. Do I think that she didn't know anything? No. But do I think that she was like the root evil fucking person in that situation? No, I definitely do not think that at all. I think that Erica did a great PR move where she decided that she was not going to continue the same way, behave the same way, because she knew if she kept up that way, she was going to get lit up like Lisa Rinna got lit up, and then she was going to have to leave. Like, you can't have it both ways, you know? And listen, every great housewife has a bad season. Every single one of them do. It's what you do with it, okay? It's what you do with that horrible season. It's how you evolve and change and grow after you have one of those really bad seasons. You know, are you going to own up to shit? Are you going to apologize for things? Or are you going to double down and keep overproducing yourself? And that's the thing, is Lisa doesn't want people to pay attention to her. Lisa does not want, and Lisa Rinna had this problem too, where Lisa Rinna didn't want to fucking talk about her life unless she was talking about it. She did not want to bring up Harry. She did not want to bring up her daughters. She did not want to bring up anything unless she was the one originating the content. And so what she would do is she would try every single season to pick one housewife, blow her spot up in order to avoid anything that's happening to her. And that's what in my opinion, that's what Lisa Barlow is doing. Lisa Barlow sees that she has skeletons in her closet. She has problems. She has lawsuits. Her and John are clearly going through some stuff right now. You know, her son, one of her sons is gone and doing his thing right now. And she doesn't want to talk about it. And so to avoid talking about it, she has decided that she is going to blow up the other women's spots, put all the spotlight onto them. Well, the problem is with this group is they don't play that way. They don't play like that. So Lisa's having a really hard time because they won't just sit there and take it on the chin and bow down to Lisa Barlow. And some of the women are fine with admitting the bullshit that they've been through. Bronwyn being one of them. You know, Bronwyn pretty much owns up to the fact that she had a shitty existence in life and went through a lot of bad things and made really bad choices when she was younger. And that's the difference between, and Bronwyn brings that up. She's like, I don't mind bringing these things up because they're either A, not real, or B, I've already admitted to them. So I'm not hiding anything. I don't care. I know I got kicked out of BYU. I know I didn't pay my rent when I was 19 years old. I don't care. Why do you? You know what I'm saying? Um, so Lisa's having her bad season. And again, every housewife that is a lovable, fun housewife that, you know, is iconic, they all go through their moments. The biggest thing is going to be, what is she going to do with it next season? What is she going to take away from all this? Is she going to, you know, there's only two ways to go. Well, there's three ways technically. One is you just leave. You double down so hard that you're like, fuck this place, I'm over it. Number two is you apologize. You say that you fucked up, you were wrong, and that you were in a bad place in your life and you blamed it on everybody else. And then option number three is you play the villain. And some housewives love that. Look at like Kenya Moore. Kenya Moore loves being the villain. She's been fine with it. Did she go a little bit over the edge on the villain edit? Yeah, she did. But there are some housewives like Ramona Singer. Ramona loves being the villain. She does not give a shit. She's never given a shit. She doesn't care that she's the bad guy in the group. She thrives being the villain. And I don't think Lisa is cut out to be the villain. She's not strong enough to be the villain. As you can tell, she was having a panic attack on the boat. She was having a full-on panic attack on the boat. She's not built to be the villain. You know, Lisa Rinna, I think Lisa Rinna could have been a great villain. She was at times, but she doubled down too much, and she wouldn't own, and she would tell everybody else, own it, baby, own it. But then she wouldn't own it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We'll see. I want Lisa Barlow to keep going, but I don't know what she's going to choose, what path she's going to choose. Again, I've watched so many Housewives seasons and franchises, and those three ways are usually the only three ways that Housewives go. So we shall see what happens. I felt so bad for Angie on this trip. It felt like she was literally fucking cursed. Because first of all, do they not have Dramamine on these boats? Like, what's that about? Like, do we not have motion sickness pills? Like, what the fuck's going on? You don't have like a little like weed gummy to give them or something? Like, why are these women vomiting on a boat? They shouldn't be doing that. They should be able to take like, again, like a Dramamine or something and be just fine. I don't know what is going on with that. But Angie being sick, I felt so bad. She was such a trooper, and she was so sweet and kind and didn't make it like her personality on the trip and didn't ruin everybody else's trip. I love that for her. I loved that she was literally holding on to one of the below deck guys' leg while they were trying to bring her back in, and she's just throwing up on her legs. She's holding on to the guy's leg. She's just losing it. Brittany's fucking throwing up, and then poor Angie slams her hand into a door, and it she must have broke it. She must have broke her finger because it was gushing blood. Had to get it taped up. She's sitting there looking at poor Captain Jason like, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to make your life harder. And funny enough, she's not even the fucking problem. Angie's 75 friggin' medical concerns are the least of these people's worries, apparently, because everybody else is acting like cuckoo crazy Cocoa Puffs, okay? Brittany is a real estate developer. I need somebody to look into that. I need someone to look into Brittany being a real estate developer. She buys and she sells. She buys and she sells. She buys and she sells. It's also so funny to me that like she says that she's so in love with Jared, she loves Jared so much, and yet she wants to get boned by like half the staff on this yacht. I'm like, how about you and Jared just be in an open relationship and call it good? What's the problem? Why can't you two just be in an open relationship? I don't see anything wrong with that. We're fucking adults. If we consent to it and we acknowledge it and we're okay with it, I'm not really sure what the problem is, because it definitely doesn't seem like Jared's the only one that's okay with stepping out. It seems like Brittany doesn't really give a shit either. So just be in an open relationship and own it. Again, own it. If you own it, then people can't use it against you. That's what these women do not understand. And Bronwyn is kind of grasping that. And I think Whitney's kind of figured it out too, that when you, oh God, sorry, I don't have a butt, you guys. I have no cushion for the pushing. So when I sit, I'm like sitting on my tailbone. It's very disappointing. But what these women don't understand, what housewives will never grasp, and it drives me insane, is that when you own your shit, when you take accountability for it, when you call it out, they can't hold it against you, because they're like, oh, well, you already know, and you've already acknowledged it, and you really don't seem to be bothered by it. Like Bethany Frankel did that all the time. You know, her and Ramona would sit there and say the most ridiculous shit about Bethany, and Bethany's like, okay, show me it all. Like, Go ahead, mention it all. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, what do you have over me that I don't already know about? And that's powerful. And I wish Lisa would realize that. I wish Lisa would just realize if she just owned it. And Heather tried, you guys. Heather tried to tell her, stop acting like you are not the go-to gossip queen in fucking Salt Lake City. Stop pretending that people don't come to you and tell you the most ridiculous crap about our cast and what's going on. Just own it and say it. And it's like, well, that doesn't mean this. The problem is that what Lisa doesn't understand is the problem is that she gets told this shit. She gets told the gossip, the tea, and all this stuff. And instead of holding it in like a vault or using it herself in a different manner, she does a lot of this. She does a lot of this. Little gabby, chatty. And she always has a list and she's checking it twice, finding out who's naughty and nice. And that is why Lisa is always going to be a problem, because she cannot just go, yeah, you know what? I fucking did. I know everything that's going on in this town because everybody's telling me shit. And yeah, I am repeating it. Why? Because I'm a gossip queen and it is what it is. And if you don't like it, don't do stupid shit and I wouldn't gossip about you. Again, be the villain. Be the villain. If you're going to be the villain, be the villain. You know what I'm saying? Own it, baby. Own it, baby. But that's just my opinion, okay? Let's see what else we got. Obviously, the women complain about how Lisa's really friggin' bad at pretending that she's not doing this shit. Like, she's not good at it. You know, if you're going to leak information, if you're going to have sock accounts, if you're going to do all this crazy shit, you can't say one thing and then literally retweet it or post it the next day. People are gonna be like, well, where did you get that saying from? Where did you get that from? The whole Conwin thing and the whole Fraudwin thing. It's like, you can't say that. No one else is saying that. Only you're saying that. And then an account tweets about it or an Instagram post is about it. And it's like, well, who else the fuck would they get that from? Lisa Barlow. And Lisa is, again, and Whitney and Heather say this, it's too much doth protest too much. Like, you are trying so hard to the point that you're giving yourself a panic attack instead of just saying, yeah, it was me. Whoops. The other thing that drives me nuts is what's her face from, what was it, 2 seasons ago? When they had the whole, receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, that whole bullshit or whatever. You guys went through a situation where you were harassed online. You were stalked online by a woman that tried to be a housewife with her little friends, her little gremlin people, okay? They did that to you. You guys were traumatized by that. You were very upset about it. You were scared. You felt violated, all this shit, okay? And you made a big deal out of that, about it, to the point that this woman is no longer on this show anymore, okay? But now you're doing the same thing and you're upset with everybody else. And then when it gets brought up that, she brings up the shit that she said to Angie when Angie's done, vomiting and feels a lot better, and apparently someone finally fucking gave her a Dramamine, she brings up Lisa gossiping about Bronwyn and Bronwyn's husband, Todd, making out with some woman while he's farting the whole time. It's like, well, Lisa, right? Like, you're doing it. It's right here. Stop. Just stop the bullshit. There's no need for it. Or again, own the shit. Own that you're doing this. And the only reason why she owned it in that moment is because she couldn't fucking deny it. She couldn't deny it. And I think the one person in the group that is her weakness, and this is why she hates her so much, is Angie. Because Angie is not going to let you run her over. Angie's not going to let you sit there and talk blasphemy about her. And also, because Lisa and Bronwyn were never really friends, but Angie and Lisa were, Angie has a lot more over Lisa, which is why it's funny that when Angie calls Lisa out, Lisa pretty much lets it drop or figures a way to get out of it in that moment if Angie's around. But if it's just her and Bronwyn, it's just her and Heather, any of these other women, she will just keep punching at it. With Angie, though, she'll fight for a little bit and then she's kind of like, oh shit. And it's like, it's because Angie knows shit about you. It's because Angie is not going to let you sit there and lie when you've talked shit in front of her. It's very fascinating. Their dynamic, Angie and Lisa's dynamic, is very interesting to me. And, you know, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer on these television programs. I'm just saying. Okay, so when we're at this dinner table, all right, and we're having, as someone who is very dramatic when I speak, I've been like this my whole life. I'm not just like, oh, I'm sad today. Oh, it's been a rough day. I'm like, nope, the sky's on fire. The world is horrible. I hate everything. And like, you know, we're all gonna die. Brittany's kind of like that too. So when Brittany says to Bronwyn in the dressing room clip, you know, Meredith's always having like a fucking seizure. We weren't, come on. First of all, Meredith had to be drunk or, you know, on one of her medication she's on. And for her to literally take the seizure comment that dead ass seriously was wild to me. I'm like, you guys, Bronwyn, come on. Even Brittany, I'm like, girl, defend yourself. You weren't actually saying that Meredith is having actual physical seizures. You're just trying to explain the behavior. And the closest thing you can come up with is this. And honestly, Brittany's not wrong. Brittany's not wrong. Meredith goes from 0 to 100 so fast over nothing burgers. But if it's anything pointed at her, she has such a hard time with it. Like, Meredith does not like to, Meredith can't argue. She doesn't want to argue. She can't argue. She has a hard time arguing. And when anything is directed at her, she cannot handle it. She's never been able to handle it. She goes like this, really, really fast. And it was just so funny. She's like, one of my children, you know, you can't just talk about people with seizures. That's so inappropriate, blah, blah, blah. Like, my child has had that issue, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, Meredith, you know that's not what she's talking about. And again, I know these women are drunk, so it's like, you can't really have like a real conversation with any of them. But it's like, Meredith, that's not what she was talking about. She was just like describing your behavior. She's not saying that you are actually having seizures or you look like someone who's having a seizure. It's just an exclamation of your behavior. That's all it was. And so to sit there and watch them go on and on and on about the seizure thing, I was like, can we stop? And then watching Brittany throw her water after Meredith threw her water, and Brittany throws it, but it's thrown into the wind, so it comes back at her. I was like, it's so Brittany. It's so Brittany. It's Brittany, bitch. And then you have, again, this is why I love the below deck dynamic. You have the cast members from below deck cleaning up shit in the middle of them all fighting. And then again, cutting, like they're screaming, yelling at each other, and then cutting to the crew and then being like, what the fuck? And Ben being like, I'm not going out there to introduce this fucking dessert. Fuck that. I'm going back. Like, I don't care. Lisa's saying, this is the other thing is like, Lisa's just not good at denying her shit at all. And this is another example, and I talk about this all the motherfucking time with you guys. These women, I think, sometimes forget that they are on camera. Now listen, that's a positive thing, okay? I love that because it's funny. I want them to be delusional. I want them to forget that there's a camera there. I want them to like drop all their inhibitions and really fuck their lives up, okay? It's entertaining. We want those things to happen, okay? That being said, though, Lisa forgets she's on fucking television and she's recorded all the goddamn time. So to sit there and say that you don't dig up dirt, that you don't dig up all these things, that's a lie. That's a literal fucking lie. How else do you know this stuff? From digging it up yourself, or as they showed on back cuts, her seeking out information from people that she knows are connected to the people that she hates. She does this all the time. And then when they're all arguing, and then Lisa has the audacity to say that you're lucky I even talked to any of you. I'm like, Lisa, you can't do that. You can't say that shit. You cannot say that shit, because that is what we were already thinking about you, but now you added validity to that. We already thought that you think you're better than all of us, but now that you're saying it out loud, Now we have it on camera and now we can use it against you. Why do that? Why? And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Lisa Barlow even drinks, so she's not even drunk. Which is always so funny to me. She has a liquor company, she doesn't even drink. But sorry, my neck's killing me today. There's no, like, don't say that. You're giving them that shit. You're handing them a silver platter of shit to use against you because they already think you think that, but now you've added to that and you're giving it to them. And it's like, Lisa, you gotta own it, baby. You cannot say shit like that. You can't do it, you know? Let's see. Oh God, Bronwyn's sleeping on the deck and then it raining. I'm like, girl, sleep in a bed. You're on a yacht. Cut it out. Or like, why didn't she sleep on a couch inside? Why are you sleeping on one of the deck loungers? I've watched Below Deck before. They all have a living room on the boat. There's no couch that she could have slept on. That's so fucking stupid to me. Go sleep on one of the deckhands. Go ask Jason where he's sleeping, okay? Go see what he's up to. Yeah, Lisa always doubles down with the whole concept of like, well, I didn't start the gossip and I didn't say the gossip. I heard it. Well, it's like, okay, but you heard it, and instead of stopping it there and just hearing the bullshit and then hitting the stop button, you heard it and then you kept spreading it over and over and over and over and over. And you spread it to people that you knew were going to say something. You spread it around to people. You spread it to gossip sites. You spread it to all these people. That's the other thing too. It's like, at the end of the day, this group could figure out who the fuck's talking about it. Like, you could call up a local, you could message DM one of these gossip channels and be like, did Lisa Barlow talk to you? What the fuck do they care? You know what I'm saying? Like, we look at what's happening with OC, and I don't even friggin' watch OC, but we look at what's happening with OC with Tamara. It's like, well, you're gonna get caught. It's not like you're being good at what you're doing. It's not like you're good at hiding that it's you. You're straight up on your own account with your own mouth telling people this bullshit. Eventually, if someone really wanted to dig it up and figure it out, this is me. If I was Heather when I was scream fighting, but obviously I wouldn't be drunk because I wouldn't think of this. But when I was scream fighting with Lisa the first time around, I would have been like, Lisa, if you've never talked to a gossip channel, if you've never given them tea or gossip or anything, give me your phone right now. Give me your phone right now. This will end it right here, right now. If you have never sent a message to one of these gossip sites, to one of these gossip accounts, if you've never done that, give us your phone right here, right now. We'll pull up your Instagram, we'll pull up your TikTok, we'll pull up your emails, we'll pull up your text messages. We don't have to show the camera, but we'll stand here and I, Heather, because I feel like Heather's probably the most credible person in the group. I will sit here and I will sift through things and I will find it. And if you're Lisa and you didn't do that, like she says she doesn't do that she says she doesn't do these things, I'd be like, go ahead, take my phone. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a crap. Go ahead. That's like when you see people in marriages and they're like, we don't show each other's phones and whatever. Why not? I don't give a shit if my husband pulls my phone up. Have a great time. There's nothing in there to look at because I'm not doing anything shady and stupid. Same with my husband. My husband's like, go ahead, look at my phone. I don't care. Here's my password. Here's everything. Have a great old time. But I know that if I did that with Lisa couldn't do that because Lisa is full of shit. Lisa is doing this stuff. Lisa is saying these things. Lisa is talking to these people, allegedly, in the background for legal purposes only, in Minecraft, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, the whole Todd thing is so, I love that Mary is thinking what we're all thinking, which is, sir, why are you farting while you're making out with someone? You clearly have digestive issues. I mean, he is an old man. We have to give him a break on that. He is an old man. Okay, so we do have to give him a little bit of a break. Bowel movements might be a little different these days. But it is really funny watching Mary be like, what's going on? What's going on with your body? Why are you flatulating? like, I don't know what I'm more, I think she said something to the effect of like, I don't know what I would be more concerned about, my husband cheating on me or him having like farting issues while he's making out with somebody while cheating on me. I was like, Mary, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Let's see if there's anything else. The zombie themed dinner I thought was so funny because if you watch the first part of the first episode where they went with Below Deck or whatever, you see the stewardesses and crew talking about the cucumber that was in one of their bags or something. But then if you look over on the bed, there's like a mask with like a bloody face on it. Like, what the fuck? Is no one gonna talk about that? Is someone gonna talk about how there's a bloody face mask, like Jason style off in the corner? We're not gonna have that conversation. It's like, oh, well, that's why, because they were doing this, which I thought was really funny. But I'm like, out of all the things that they picked that. I'm like, okay, whatever. The party things on these yachts crack me up because if I was on a yacht, I wouldn't do that. If I was on a vacation on a yacht, I would be like, let's have a little, like, let's have a party. Let's have a themed party. I'd be like, no, I want to relax. And I want to not hear screaming and yelling. I want to be chill. I'm not near my kids right now. I want to be happy. Thank you. Okay, I don't want to be having a zombie party. I just love how any chance that Mary has to be mean to Heather, she will take it. And of course, Heather is belligerently drunk, and Mary's just like, girl, I know you're drunk right now because your breath is stank. It's giving Stacy. it's giving Stacy on Real Housewives of Potomac. And then of course, Brittany's sick and she's vomiting, and then all of a sudden she's like, I think I'm just gonna have a chaser. And of course, Meredith has to give her shit because Meredith cannot get off of Brittany's dick for whatever reason. Meredith Meredith hates Brittany. You know, sometimes Meredith's drama voice is so, it's just too much. Like when she found out that Brittany was recording them, you know, they've never had a good relationship. And Meredith is just so dramatic. And then when she is dramatic, she's very defensive, screaming, yelling, raising her voice. And you know, and she doesn't have like a very la la la. She's not like Whitney and has a cute little voice like this. Like Meredith has like a bit of a deep voice. So when she's yelling at you, it's projecting. Okay, she is like, ooh. And I think it was funny that Brittany used the disengaging comment against her. I thought that was really funny. And then of course Brittany bringing up Seth cheating on Meredith. It's like, you guys, like, this storyline's so old and so stupid, and I don't really care anymore. Does anybody give a like, no offense to Meredith, does anybody give a fuck about Seth? Does anybody actually care about Seth? I don't care about Seth. I don't give a shit about their marriage. I don't care. I've always personally thought, again, allegedly, there's no proof to this in Minecraft. I've always thought that Meredith and Seth were in an open relationship. Like they are like swingers or something. I have nothing to prove that. I have nothing to validate that feeling in any way, shape, or form. That's just like a vibe that I get from the two of them, that they don't actually, like, I don't know, like they don't give the vibe that they're in this like very heterosexual loving marriage. They give this vibe of like, we're besties, we hang out, we have a good time together, like we're always there for each other, we love our children, but I let Seth do whatever he wants and I do whatever I want. And I know that these housewives are doing these things, and I just wish that they would like normalize it and make it okay. That, because it is okay. Here's the thing, like, it is okay if you're in an open relationship if it is consensual and you both agree upon it. What is the fucking problem? What is the issue? I don't understand. Also, does Seth have a job? I have questions. Does Seth have a job? Seth doesn't give I have a job vibes. That's just me though. What do I know? I know nothing. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about real quick is just Potomac. I'm not up to date on Potomac. I think I'm an episode behind. They're currently, I think the episodes that I'm on right now, they're on vacation. This is all I'm going to say about Potomac is, one, I am going to watch it. I'm going to, you know, take notes on it. I'll probably commentate on it here and there or whatever. But what I will say about Potomac is that I think what's happening with Potomac is that we are fighting over some really stupid shit that doesn't really... There's nothing to like, there are like nothing, a lot of nothing burgers. And I keep saying that, but that is the vibe I'm getting, is that we are dealing with a bunch of nothing burgers. You know, the issues with Kay and Wendy, it's like, Kay, like, listen, I'm not team Wendy, okay? I'm not a hater of Wendy. I'm just kind of like neutral on Wendy overall. I think Wendy has, I think Wendy can be a bit of a snut. And I think Wendy can be a little full of herself and think that she's better than everybody. I think Wendy is a name dropper. But I also at the same time think that she's earned the right to be a name dropper. I think Wendy's earned the right to be the smartest person in the room. She's done the work. It's not like she's saying these things and it's like she has nothing to back it up. She does. She talks about it all the fucking time. But she does. She has every right to bring up how many degrees she has. She should be very proud of that, especially as a Nigerian immigrant. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm sure everything that her family went through to be in the United States and to be a proud Black woman with 4 degrees. Like, I believe she has a doctorate, so she is technically a doctor. She has every right to say all these things and bring all this stuff up. That doesn't mean that gives off the most likable, relatable vibes, but at least she has shit to back it up. But the whole vibe of Wendy and Kay is just kind of like, the argument's stupid to me. Like, okay, Kay, you can't say a snide comment back to her in public when she's talking to you like that. Like, if she comes up to you and she's like, oh, did you do your own makeup? Say something stupid fucking rude back to her. Who cares? You're a grown ass adult. We're gonna have a fucking episodes long argument about a stupid one comment and all of a sudden you two aren't friends anymore? If you only knew the shit that my sibling and I say to each other on a regular basis, you would think we hated each other half the time. If you knew half the stuff that my husband and I say to each other with our little snide, sarcastic remarks, you would think we hated each other. So it's just so funny to me that Kay will not let go, will not just let go of this Wendy argument. It's so stupid to me. And then what happens is Kay uses that against Angel, and then Angel's put in this weird predicament. And, the vibe I'm getting with Kay and Angel is Kay wants Angel to be this like ride or die, no matter what. Like, I'm always right. Don't say no to me. Listen to me, to the point of like embarrassing Angel in front of everybody. And even Wendy brings it up of like, girl, blink twice. Like, is she holding you hostage? Like, what the fuck is the problem? Like, you don't have your own voice, your own thoughts, your own opinions. It's very, very interesting. I think the Stacy thing is also a bit of a nothing burger when it comes to why the fuck do you care if she is married or not? It's like, well, how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to take you seriously? Just then don't. When she talks, you don't have to take it in. Let's not pretend that you're best friends with her. You're not. So you actually can just listen to her, roll your eyes, and keep it pushing. You don't have to take everything she says and hold it in so hard. Who gives a shit? Who cares if she's divorced? Especially coming from Ashley and Giselle. I am very entertained by Ashley. She drives me nuts, but I'm very entertained by her. I love Giselle now that she's not part of the Blue-Eyed Bandits is what they were called. Now that she doesn't have friggin' Robin around, I love Giselle now. I also love Giselle now because she's you guys, this is just my opinion. This is not like, I have nothing to back this up. This is just my opinion. I think Giselle fucking loves that Karen's in prison. And I think that she loves that she's the center girl now on the show. I think she loves that she's like the OG girl, that she's like kind of top dog now. I think she loves that she's kind of the one like kind of leading the group in discussions and conversations. And I love that she's kind of doing the, oh my God, I miss Karen, I hope so much for her. But then will always in confessionals and any way that she can kind of like make a dig at her. I think it's so funny. I think Giselle's thriving and I love it. I love watching Giselle in this little era, her single era, all this stuff. That being said though, Giselle and Ashley need to stop talking about Stacy. And if Stacy was smart, which, that's up for interpretation. Some people have the zing backs and some people don't. Let me tell you right now, Ashley Darby is very good with the zinger, very good with the comeback. So is Giselle. Stacy, not so much. Stacy's not very good at the arguing thing, the sassy, sarcasm, arguing bullshit like some of the other women are. But if Stacy was smart, she would come back and go, do not talk about my relationship. Do we want to talk about you and your old ass man and your divorce that was on and off, back and forth? We didn't know where the fuck you were with him. Okay. Do we want to talk about that? Giselle, do we want to talk about your stupid little dynamic with your ex little pastor husband who cheated on you and embarrassed the fuck out of you on national television? Do we want to talk about that? No? Then keep my name out of your mouth. Now, if we want to talk about the TJ thing, that's interesting to me. That's like, and I think it was Kay that brought that up. She was like, I don't really give a shit about this marriage thing. I want to go back to the whole you paying somebody to be your boyfriend on TV. That's what I want to know about. That's fascinating to me. I don't give a crap about, you and your husband. That's, you want to get divorced and get back together, divorce and get back together, not divorced, whatever. Who cares? We're also like, do you not have a life? Why are you on a website looking for legal documents for your cast member? And like, just because she doesn't want to talk about her dynamic with her ex-husband and who she's dating, Giselle's not talking about who the fuck she's dating. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the other women on the group aren't doing that either. So it's like, stop. There's just like, but again, Stacey just doesn't have the quick wit to zing back at them because there's so much to work with. There's so much to work with Ashley and Giselle. But Stacey, for some reason, doesn't catch that and doesn't use that against the women. Because if I was them, I would be like, don't talk about me. Don't talk about me. Or I'm gonna start talking about you. About shit that you thought was over and done with. And the stupidity that you're making. So you guys are allowed to make stupid mistakes and we have to forget about it. But I'm not allowed to make my own choices. It's my marriage, it's my relationship. What does it matter to you? It doesn't matter to you. And it doesn't mean that I'm lying to you. It just means I don't have to talk to you about it. Let me live my own life. It doesn't mean that everything else I say is a lie. Do I believe that about Stacey? No, I do think Stacey is a liar. I do think she's messy. I do think she's full of shit. But she's allowed to be full of shit, okay? She's allowed to be messy. She's allowed to be crazy. I don't think she's as, like, just the dramatics of it all, of a nothing burger is wild to me. And that's like, that's a big thing with Potomac right now, is I just feel like a lot of the arguments are nothing burgers. I mean, I do appreciate Giselle having, is it Jessie? I don't remember her name, back onto the show and doing the bachelorette party thing or whatever. And it was like, oh, multiple people in the group didn't want you here, but I invited you. And I'm like, in the real world, you would be smart and you would not invite that person so you could keep the dynamic good within the friend group. But on television, it's a whole other ball game. We are definitely 1000% bringing this woman onto this goddamn boat and this party and this event and this vacation or whatever, and we are going to use her to cause drama onto this show. That is going to happen. Wild behavior. So I'm keeping up, but the drama is just, I don't know, it's not, I guess it's not, is it not good enough, I guess? I don't know, you guys tell me, drop it in the comments what you guys think about Potomac. I don't know how I feel yet. It's just kind of, it's all right. It's okay. It's not funny drama. It's not weird drama. I don't know, it's just not the type of drama that I want. And like, I don't know how I feel about some of the new cast members. I'm nervous for Tia because it's already hard. The black casts always get the worst criticism online. They always get the worst hate. They always get the worst shit. They always have. They've all talked about it for multiple seasons. They get the most vitriol online. Being women, being black women, being rich, proud, black, independent women, they get shit on all the time, 24/7, 365. And again, they've all talked about it, that they've been threatened. It's really bad for those particular casts. Real Housewives of Potomac and Real Housewives of Atlanta, they've all talked about the amount of hate that they get is different than what the other women on different casts get. But I get nervous with Tia because there's this fine line of, I'm an independent woman. I'm not just a mom. I'm also a businesswoman. I'm also this, I'm also that. And then there's another thing to say things like, when I was 6 months pregnant, I drank alcohol. I'm like, girl, I don't think you want to say that. Even if it's true, I think that that's really poor behavior. And I think that's a really bad judgment call. And I think that that is detrimental to your child. even if that is a true statement and you stand by it, I do think there are times where you do need to edit yourself a little bit just to avoid a certain type of hate that's going to come your way. Because one thing moms love to do, man, oh fucking man, especially women that look like me, stupid ass white women, is man, oh man, do we love to fucking hate on each other as women. We love to hate on moms. Moms love hating on another mom, and women love hating on another woman. And I'm a little worried about Tia, and I'm a little worried that she's going to get a lot of hate online for her parenting style and her dynamic with her husband, and the way she talks about him and the way she talks about her kids. I'm just like, I'm just a little nervous for her and the hatred that she's about to receive online, if she hasn't already received it already. You know, I don't keep up too much with the deep dives of the Housewives stuff. I'm not like a Reddit thread type of, commentator, watcher, viber. I'm more of like, does it come across my feed and do I have an opinion on it? But I will say I'm a little nervous for Tia and the fans and how they're going to receive her and her mothering, parenting dynamic. I'm really interested to see how that comes about. And then again, her dynamic with her husband. I mean, I think that Angel and her husband, the vibe I get is something really great. They seem like they're best friends and they just love the shit out of each other and they have such a good time. We got multiple wags on the show, and that's apparently a whole fucking dynamic in itself, which is so funny to me. But I love her and her husband. They seem like great people that have a lot of fun. Kay and Greg. I mean, listen, we've seen housewives before that have had husbands or boyfriends that have acted stupid on camera and have said some really dumb shit, but have learned from it and grown and changed and turned shit around. And maybe that's Greg. Maybe Greg's turned it around. I don't know. But the two of them seem like a sassy little couple that I think they give off the couple that likes to fight. That like that's a part of their like sassy spiciness, is they want to fight with each other, and when they fight they love hard and they hate hard. Like that's the vibe between her and Greg, is that like part of their love language is fighting. So I don't know, we'll see. But all right, thank you guys for coming. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you. As always, if you're part of the replay crew, please let me know that you were part of it and you're hanging out and you're saying hi and hello. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all the things. You know you want to. I'm funny. I'm having a good time. You know you came here. You sat here for almost 2 hours and you did have a good time with me. Stop denying it. So just like this video, share this video, and then subscribe to my channel, okay? And then, as I already said, make sure that you go over to Instagram and you follow me, not just on Mentally Grown 24/7, but you also follow me on my new political channel, which is mainstream politics. It's new. I'm working on it. Follow mainstream politics. I'm hoping to start a YouTube channel, hopefully within the next, within going into the new year is the plan. We'll see. My son's going to preschool, so I'll have a new schedule and a new vibe and a new ideas and new thoughts and opinions. Go follow the podcast, the World's on Fire podcast that I have with my sister. Always support LGBTQIA businesses, especially those owned by trans people right now. Shout out to Zoran Mondami. You're the GOAT, man. You're number one. Loved you. So happy that you won. F the ice cream man. And yeah, I think that's about it. Immigrants are amazing. They're wonderful, and they shouldn't get shipped out to countries that they don't belong to. And I think that's it. So I love you guys so much. I will see you guys on the next one. Let me know what you want me to talk about next, and I will see you guys later. Bye.